All right, what it do, what it do. Welcome to another one for Al Cuerpo Boxing, to the body. So let's get with it. Let's talk some boxing. So we're about what? We're like a day through from a good night of boxing. I was entertained. Usyk and Verhoeven definitely they had a good fight. They had a good fight. Both had a pretty good fight. I think right now a lot of boxing fans in particular, and partly maybe even the MMA and kickboxing world, they're probably shocked as well. But I want to say I think people are shocked for a lot of good reasons, and I guess maybe some are shocked more like an unfair type of approach. I myself included because when I first, I think maybe when the fight finished, about 5 or 10 minutes, I had to go live, and I had to. I waited for the post string interviews, but I had to. I had to share my emotions in that I thought, they should have let Rico go into the 12th round. We'll get into that detail in a bit. But for me, why boxing fans win, kickboxing fans win, MMA fans win, or I guess most sporting fans in general win because there are a lot of benefits from this outcome. And more importantly, I think the context is probably the best part of this fight. Okay, because I think right now fans are super confused. I myself, there's a little running theme that some fans believe that Usyk possibly carried Verhoeven. And if that's the case, then that's all done by design ahead of time. But at the same time, when you rewatch the fight, it's like, nah, it don't seem that way. But if you want to do believe that Usyk did carry Verhoeven in a possible controversial design to make another rematch, well, then you also got to consider that Joshua did the same thing with Jake Paul, right? Because many thought that Joshua was gonna smash Jake Paul in no more than 2 rounds, right? Maybe at least one feel out round in the first round. And of course, that fight went 6 rounds. And even with Joshua Paul, fans were divided, man. Like some fans thought it was a super joke. I didn't really care much. I didn't really have an opinion on that fight. I let it play out, and in the end, I actually enjoyed watching watching the highlights, if anything. What's another one? Oh yeah. So if you believe these pro elite fighters, maybe it's controversial or debatable if Joshua's elite. I think he's elite. If they're carrying, these other exhibitionists, but at the same time, it'd be unfair to compare Rico Verhoeven to a Jake Paul. I mean, that's just wrong. You can't do that. I mean, Rico's the real deal, man. If you guys seen Rico's fights in his world of K1 glory kickboxing, he's the real deal, man. He comes to fight, man. And he has been dropped before and he comes back to rally and win. So Verhoeven should have definitely had benefit of doubt to go to the 12th round. Again, we'll go into detail on that a bit. But as far as like this theme about carrying exhibitionists, if I want to say exhibitionists, but like even like the Canelo Crawford thing. I mean, if we're all going to agree with that, then I could say that Canelo also carried Crawford in the earlier rounds because I said to myself, like, yo, at Canelo's stage, you can't be going slow in the early rounds. We know Canelo likes to start off slow, but given the context, again, the context, it's Netflix, it was Zuffa Boxing, they need an American star, so most likely they were going to probably edge it for Crawford regardless, right? Same thing with Usyk. I mean, I see a lot of fans, a lot of uproar right now saying that they pretty much wanted to rob Rico no matter what. Depending on how 11 would have played or the 12th. But looking at the scorecards, you guys get what I'm getting at. All right, and I guess we could just jump to the stoppage, man. Look, I'll say this. First of all, I was shocked because after I was busy doing some my end, my mischievous stuff, watching the fight with some company. But after the 6 round, I was like, damn, what's going on here? Like, I'm like finally looking at the fight. I had the fight live, by the way. Again, I was busy. But anyways, I was doing the 6th round, like, what? Or 7th, I'm like, well, how is Rico up? Because I was watching, I was like, well, I wasn't really focused on the fight, if you know what I mean. But it looked blurry, and I saw Rico just doing his thing. I was just rhythm, and in my mind, because I wasn't focused, I thought, okay, maybe it's gonna be close out of entertainment. It's an exhibition, blah blah blah. But yeah, we're going to the seventh round, and I'm like, damn, this is something's up here. Like Rico's looking pretty good, and then it took me a second to like rebuild my thoughts on my earlier videos in which I did, which had some pretty good views too. Probably K1 fans, if anything, on Rico's chances. Like, could he pull the upset? And I pretty much made it apparent that the size, the experience, that he's a fighter, man. He's a natural born fighter, Rico Van Herven. Or at least he got into fighting by preference. What I mean is not going by points or the 10-point must system, which is in all throughout all most combat sports. But again, Van Horven comes to win. When he's hurt, he rallies back strong, and you got to take that in consideration, considering that he's the bigger guy over Usyk, right? So again, here's the thing. So I'm watching the 11th round. I'm watching the 11th round, guys, and I'm like, damn, like he's doing pretty good, right? So at the end, he gets clipped. He gets clipped with an uppercut, and I'm like, okay, Rico's been here before. He's been clipped. He's gonna get up, right? And so in the time that he did get clipped, I mean, his mouth guard went out after the count. The ref let him get his mouthpiece. He's got to get another mouthpiece from his corner, of course. So that's natural. That time that's going to drag out. All right. So we know that Usyk's trying to go for the kill, right? At the same time, guys, there's literally the clock's running out. All right, and us boxing fans, it's nothing new for us, guys. It's nothing new for us. There's a term. It's called "saved by the bell." And for those of us that know, we've seen countless fights, man, countless fights. Too many. For those that are tuning in right now, listening to me outside of boxing, just trust us, like, or even in other combat sports. But Saved by the Bell is a real thing. Okay, so guys, Usyk was teeing off on Verhoeven. Verhoeven had his guard up. He was taking shots. At the same time, he was trying to fire back, right? As most refs say, show me something, show me something. So Verhoeven was doing his part. And then I kid you not, guys, I kid you not, because I've heard this. I've heard other cats talk about this. And I think maybe the zone instigated the clip, but I'm not imagining things. So when we heard the bell ring on the DAZN broadcast, I said, "Oh, okay, Verhoeven he just got saved by the bell, right?" Because we know that referees like to intervene; they're gonna jump in. All right. For example, Morel versus Benavides, right? What round was it? Was it the fourth or the ninth? I forgot which round it was, but they're in an exchange. Benavides and I think Benavides has Morel on the ropes, or it's the other way around. I forgot, man. But at the end of the bell, Morale was able to get a punch in, right? And the ref wasn't having it. The ref actually deducted a point from David Morale. But the point is, guys, saved by the bell or a strike after the bell, a warning, right? So, anyways, there's countless fights where the ref's gonna intervene. And literally, when I heard the bell ring, and we saw what's the ref's name? Weiss? I forgot his name. But he intervened because we thought he stopped the round. That he stopped the round, not stopped the fight. So when because okay, so Weiss intervenes, he gets in there as most refs should. They're gonna intervene. He stops the round, and then we see the ref wave it off. We're like, what's going on here? And we could hear the zone broadcast going crazy, like, yo, what's going on? That is when we as boxing fans, a lot of boxing fans will acknowledge this, because we were shocked, we were surprised. It was a good fight. Everybody won this night because we saw an undisputed kickboxing champion hold it down, man, with Alexander Usyk. I mean, that's just surreal, guys. It's surreal in that for the last decade or more, especially when Floyd fought McGregor, we've had these crossover fights of different combat sports categories grow, right? So this was the first time where we saw the so-called underdog. But I mean, even underdog is rude, because Van Herven is undisputed champion in his category of kickboxing, right? So you can't say that. But anyways, as others are saying, we got to give Verhoeven benefit of doubt that, yo, I mean, 1 minute of recovery. Come on, guys. He would have been okay if you've seen Verhoeven's fight in the past. And remember, keep in mind that Usyk was gassed out, man, in the championship rounds. Like already, he was gassed out. So you got to give Rico benefit of doubt. His corner might have said, "Yo," and I believe even Fury, right? The Fury fam, they said, um, play safe distance and hold, or just drag out the round. So we know that would have been the game plan, and we've seen it, guys. We've seen countless fights and championship fights where one guy will play it safe in the last and final round to assure he's gonna get it right. So Rico Verhoeven didn't get benefit of doubt for that, and that's proven. It's not theory; it's proven. Guys will do that. They'll milk out the final round to assure that they have that win, that victory. Okay. So Rico didn't get that, and most boxing fans agree they want the rematch. I myself, I said, yo, they got to run that back. Now, if you're Alexander Usyk, he's got options. He can be like, well, yeah, I can maybe do the Verhoeven rematch. It wasn't my best performance. It may be embarrassing, right, to a lot of Usyk fans. This is Usyk's mind, right? He might be embarrassed, and I think as far as the payday, I think Turkey would probably acknowledge more the rematch with Verhoeven than a Kabayel or maybe even Benavidez. I would actually think right now Benavidez, if he's smart, he's got to steal the notoriety. Like David Benavidez got to steal the notoriety. If he doesn't make any statements in this week, then that's a big fail from Team Benavidez. It's a big nasty fail. They're probably waiting for Bivol, right? But let's say it's great. What if Bivol loses this weekend by some stupid upset, which I doubt. But yo, this is boxing, man. We just saw Moreau get smashed, and what Bruno Sarachi knocking out Munguia, like these just odd things happening, or even like last night, right? Frank Sanchez and Torres. We thought it was probably going to at least go more than 8 rounds. If anything, the full 12, right? Was it a 12 or a 10 round? I forgot what it was scheduled to be. But let me conclude in saying that for me, Verhoeven represents Verhoeven's he showed up, man. You guys got to be a fan of Verhoeven. He showed up, guys. Verhoeven was beating Alexander Usyk. Yo, guys, this is surreal. And what I like is a lot of boxing fans, like the true honest boxing fans, they're acknowledging it. They're confused right now. They're confused. But that's what I said before in the videos that I made leading up to the fight. I said, don't underestimate Van Heerden, because you have guys like Dillian White, Big Baby Miller, Povetkin, Chris Algieri, Sergey Lipinets. You got guys coming from the kickboxing world. They went into do boxing and they became champions. So you can't rule out the heart of an undisputed champion in kickboxing that he might actually do well against Alexander Usyk. And what's great is Verhoeven's style in this fight, the rhythm, how the Fury teams, how they coached them. Yo, that rhythm offset Usyk's timing in this whole fight. I mean, Usyk could have done better, but you don't see Verhoeven fighting like that in kickboxing. I mean, kickboxing is different, of course. It's more of a squared up stance for engaging in kicks. It's different. It's way different, right? Um, or maybe 50-50. But in kickboxing, obviously, your leads, your leads are your legs, And and I said before, guys, in my previous videos that Verhoeven, he's blocked kicks, man, with his guard. Let me repeat that. He's blocked kicks with his guard. You got legs weighing like more than 50 pounds, man, left and right. That's way heavier than than what's his name? Than Alexander Usyk's arms, of even in combination. So Verhoeven was ready for that. He was ready for that. And again, I even said if Verhoeven goes past 8 rounds, I said this in my previous video, then we've got a good fight. And a lot of fans, even like Tony Bellew, he said, "Yo, I'd be shocked if it goes past 2 rounds." Right? I mean, again, this is disrespect because when you compare Joshua and Jake Paul to Verhoeven and Alexander Usyk, guys, it's levels to this. Usyk and Verhoeven are, man. I'm just shocked on Usyk's performance, man. Like, yo, I'm gonna probably believe that Verhoeven's power is really what offset Usyk, and I think a lot of fans aren't really focusing that. Not so much on how fast Verhoeven's right hand was, or even the shots to the body. But it's, I think people are they were just shocked. I should say you should be shocked that Verhoeven really has power, man. That dude is really heavy, broaded shoulders, man. So well, that was a great fight. So hopefully Turkey can convince these guys to do the rematch. I know Verhoeven wants the rematch. Usyk probably do. He'll probably most likely run it. And if he does run it back over the Cabello, that's the honorable thing to do. But again, guys, Verhoeven was super focused against Alexander Usyk. He was focused, man. Yo, that's a rarity. It's a rarity. This is probably the first time in combat sports history where we got cross cross platform combat sports shocking the world because one guy, the underdog, right, was super focused with a good game plan. I think the Fury camp they need more praise. They need more praise. And of course, if it wasn't for the referee, I think it would have gone the full 12. It would have gone 12, and I think Rigo would have won it. He would have won it, man. So I'm glad fans are contextualizing the importances, referencing other fights. But guys, I thought when the bell rung, technically the round was over. So I think by design, I have to agree with a lot of fans. I mean, I myself included. I mean, at the heat of the moment, I said he was robbed. But now that I over when I relook at it, I think by design they wanted Usyk to win at all costs. Unfortunately, right? They wanted to win at all costs, and I think the ref knew. Yo, we're gonna keep it 100 here, 100 here, man. If Tank Davis and Lamont Roach get criticized, because I myself criticized that fight with Steve Willis's awkward performances in refereeing, right? By design, guys, by design. Then last night, Usyk was Usyk was saved, man. He was saved. Not so much that Rico was gonna knock him out, but he was saved that he was gonna lose that fight. And guys, for us boxing heads, we will tell you countless stories of these things happening in the game, and hence that's why they say boxing is corrupt, unfortunately, man. And it's funny because even Canelo and well, I think they interviewed Canelo about the fight. I don't know if they did Triple G or Crawford, but I think Canelo wasn't impressed with the fight with how Usyk. Try and see if you can find it on the zone. I'm curious if Crawford made an opinion on that too. I think Crawford was also shocked. Joshua was shocked. But I think it might be this. I think it might be a story that everybody really, truly, sincerely felt sorry for Verhoeven. Yo, man, shout out to Rico Verhoeven, man. That dude showed up. That's how you got to win a fight, man. That's why I always like to reference Maidana and Floyd because you gotta. I mean, I wouldn't say Verhoeven was unorthodox. Maidana was an orthodox style, right? Just awkward angles and just barraging Floyd. But well, kind of similar to what Verhoeven did with Usyk, because you got to take the fight. As I said, you got to take the fight to the champion, especially if you're a mad underdog. And if you're like being seen as a guy that got no chance against Usyk, that should be motivation and fuel to make it a dogfight. Take that fight to him and use your size to your advantage. And Verhoeven said it himself leading up to the fight. That's what he was gonna do. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, man. You guys really down for the rematch? For me, sure, why not? Why not? I mean, I was entertained. Verhoeven probably just got a huge new following, a huge amount of respect because you can't erase history. It's kind of like Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. You can't erase that, guys. You can't erase Usyk versus Verhoeven. Sorry. For all the Usyk purists that thought that Verhoeven was just like some nobody, and I don't know how the hell you downplay an undisputed kickboxing champion that was holding it down for a decade. I don't know how you dismiss that. You know, you're too caught into the moment of Usyk being the best. Yo, we saw history last night, and take notes, man. Take notes. So, anyways, man, that's what I got on this one. Oh yeah, so I want to see Benavidez and Usyk. Give me that fight next. Yo, Dave Benavidez shouldn't sleep. That kid's already a heavyweight, man. I mean, if anything, no less than a cruiserweight. So We know how him, Badu Jack, well, not so much Badu Jack, but Surdo Ramirez, Callum Smith, all these guys been boiling down to make 168 pounds, more than 25-pound cuts. And so they should have been fighting at cruiserweight here for it. Now we're seeing the aftermath. Fans are starting to wake up with all the drama about cutting weight or what's their ideal weight classes. So hopefully Benavidez want to make some badass cash, take that Usyk fight. Now is the time to do it. If fans really believe that Usyk's on a decline, that he regressed in his fight, well, if you're David Benavidez, that's what you want to do. Capitalize on the moment. Moment. Tell Turkey you want that fight at all costs. You don't want to be chasing. Why you want to chase the smaller guys in Bivol or stay at light heavyweight? Nah, don't do that, man. If anything, have them come to you. You guys know David's nice at cruiserweight. Okay, everybody knows. I've been saying this for more than a year. He's fine at cruiserweight. Now Bivol better be if anybody. They got to go to Benavidez at cruiserweight if you want those straps. You know, Benavidez don't got to go downward. He don't have to. Right now, Benavidez got the higher stick at cruiser, man. So, anyways, again, Al Cuerpo Boxing to the body. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.